The three commanders-in-chief of the Indian Armed Forces boarded INS Vikrant and reviewed a joint multi-domain operation conducted as part of the mega exercise Trishul. The Indian Air Force Chief Air Marshal A.P. Singh landed aboard a C-130J Super Hercules at the Nyoma Airbase, marking the operationalization of the strategically vital facility in Ladakh, just 25 kilometers from the LAC with China. Gujarat-based Swan Defence has signed a letter of intent with a Norway-based shipping company for the construction of 6 chemical tankers worth $220 million, marking its first-ever order after Swan Defence acquired the Pipavav shipyard. Latest reports indicate that the 550 km range RudraM-III missile is now roughly 3 years from induction. Fresh US intelligence reports indicates that Pakistan is preparing to test the new Shaheen 4 intercontinental ballistic missile with 5,500 km to 7,000 km range that has placed Israel's eyes firmly on Pakistan, given the missile's projected ability to reach Tel Aviv from Pakistani launch sites. An Indian Air Force Su-30 pilot visited Japan's Komatsu Air Base for a 2-day exchange with Japan Air Self-Defense Force F-15 pilots that included cockpit familiarization, mission briefings, simulators and an orientation flight in the F-15, giving the Indian pilot first-hand exposure to the F-15's handling and combat procedures. While Boeing attributed the return of the 3 Indian Army Apache helicopters back to the US as a result of external logistical issues, latest reports indicate that Turkey actually obstructed the delivery of the final batch of 3 Apache helicopters by denying airspace clearance to the AN-124 transport aircraft carrying them. The Indian Army has upgraded its T-72 tanks with reinforced rubber flaps around the turret that closes the vulnerable gap between the turret and hull, offering extra protection against drone-dropped munitions. The United States will shortly initiate discussions with India for the lease or sale of the B1B Lancer strategic heavy bomber, signaling a possible major step in the Indo-US defense partnership. The Russian Tu-160M is not an option for India due to Russia's limited production capacity, sanctions hit supply chain, and the current units are reserved for the Russian Air Force. The B1B Lancer offers far smoother logistics, with significantly lower maintenance costs and far higher availability rates compared to the Tu-160M, whose upkeep is notoriously expensive and manpower-intensive. The Aeronautical Development Agency has invited industry partners to support the development, certification and integration of 3 major avionics systems for the Tejas Mk2 fighter, including the infrared search and track system. The goal is to speed up subsystem validation, flight testing, and airworthiness clearance ahead of prototype rollout by late 2025 and first flight in early 2026. India and Israel have signed a new joint working group MOU to co-develop next-generation air-launched missiles. That includes air-launched cruise missiles and air-launched ballistic missiles with 500 to 1,000 km range, Mach 2 plus speed, and advanced electronic countermeasures for GPS-denied high-threat missions. Israeli companies like Rafael Advanced Defense Systems and Elbit Systems are offering custom designs with terrain marching radar deception and modular warheads for both anti-ship and land attack roles. The Aeronautical Development Agency is introducing an advanced optical projection system to modernize aircraft assembly for the Tejas Mk2 and AMCA. The system combines distortion-free projectors, 3D scanning, and AI-driven software that will replace old jigs and paper blueprints with high-precision laser projections that will display part placements, fastener guides, and inspection cues directly on the aircraft surface with sub-millimeter accuracy. This could cut build times by weeks, reduce human error, and boost production output from 16 to over 24 fighter jets annually. Today's top 3 comments.